Suzette's Guilty Pleasures. I'm your host, Suzette. You are going to get a chance to be a part of the craziness in my head. On today's episode, I am actually proud. I was proud of my other my other interview, which was my daughter, but I'm even more proud again today to have a special guest speaker with me. Her name is Shakkoi. She is an artist, as a writer, a spoken word artist. She does fitness and she's a dancer. She is like a serial entrepreneur. Please follow Shakkoi on Instagram at Need Some Koi to know more about her and her upcoming events. Let's go. Welcome, Shakkoi. Welcome. How are you?
Hello, Suzette. I am great. I am so thankful to be here and just ready to get to the real talks. You know what I'm saying? Because
definitely.
Yes.
So, listeners, as I stated, I'm very happy and I'm proud to have Shakkoi on here. And I've known Shakkoi over 26, not even, maybe 26 years, not even.
Okay, how old was I when I came here? I came here grade 6. So then I was 12 and I'm 29 now.
Okay, so I've known her for a while. She's my children's childhood friend, her and her sister. And I just want to, first of all, let's talk about childhood. What's childhood growing up? What was it like?
Yes. Okay. So honestly, when I first moved to Durham and Pickering, I was so scared. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's not going to be any Black people here. Like, what is going on? Why would my mom bring me here? So going to Lincoln Avenue on that first day and like seeing your daughter, Kayshawn, shout out to Kayshawn, and just like seeing Black people that I could connect with, I was so happy. And it really gave me such a great experience to be able to like be Black in a different area. Because I thought that leaving where I was coming from, Flemo, that I would lose that aspect of like enjoying being Black and seeing other Black people and really learning to embrace my Blackness. Because that's something we actually have to like learn.
It definitely. So what was it like? Did you feel, now I know that kids, teens, whether it's now or back then, I know they sometimes talk about how hard it was being able, and you mentioned it, being able to relate to other kids and even just experiencing some racism, whether it was through friends or through teachers. What was that like for you?
For me, thankfully we did have one Black teacher in the school, Miss Samuels. And I felt like that gave me a lot of hope. But thankfully, it's like in that year, very Black people came to Lincoln Avenue. So I felt at home. I was like, wow, there's Black people. And there's actually rich Black people because I was like, Nottingham. I'm seeing those Nottingham houses. I'm like, wow, oh my gosh. We elite. I almost felt like what's with those shows like College Hill? Like,
yes.
I'm like, I'm in the cut. Like, so there was so much culture. I was so happy. Like, even in grade 6, I did like an awards show ceremony where my teacher actually got me to host. And because there were so many Black kids, it was so fun. Me and the girl did an opening performance to like Naughty Girl. I don't know how we were actually allowed to do that. Looking back, but we did that and we just made it so funny. And honestly, just like I was really able to still express my arts and like still do music. And then, oh my gosh, Miss James, I have to shout out Miss James. When Miss James came around and was showing us the Trini dancing, like I honestly, it's done. So the childhood experience in Durham was actually amazing because of all the culture that came in Durham around that time. So it really just exploded and I felt comforted and like really able to build on the things I was able to do because in Flemo, I left dance and it felt really sad for me to do that because I was learning so much. So, and I was learning like white dance. I was learning ballet, like the ball change, all that. But I was like, anything to move. So to come here and actually learn like Michael Jackson and we're doing 80s dance, like, oh, yo,
dances and stuff. Yep.
Exactly. It was absolutely fantastic. And I'm really thankful for that.
Oh, so look at that. At first you were mad with your mom, like, what are you doing? Why are you bringing me here? Now all of a sudden you're like, yo, Durham is my area.
Oh, 100%. And I actually never until this very moment made that connection where it really just actually did allow me to get so much more. So big up, Mom. You know, they always know best. They really do.
Yeah, thank you. You hear
that?
They do. You hear that, listeners? Big up the mamas. We know.
Yes.
We know.
Yes.
So talking about your mom, and I mean, I don't want to get too touchy, but I mean, it did help to evolve to who you are today and who your sister is today, right?
100%.
So
Mhm.
let's talk about even the fact, like, going through the experience with your mom with her illness, and then after her passing, and just how all of a sudden at your young, tender teenage years, you automatically had to grow up really quick. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so honestly, I'll never forget, like it was 9:20 when I got it's pretty much, it's like my mom, she was always healthy. Let's talk about her. Like first I'll tell you about my mom,
The
who
goodness.
she was. Exactly.
Yes, the
My
goodness.
mom was the trendsetter, the Don Data. She good in the office, she good in the streets. My
Yes.
mom was just like the Jenna. Like honestly, like we'd have so many barbecues, parties. There's always something going on at my house. Any
Yep.
friend that came over, they were now a they were a child too. Like,
Yep.
don't think you're gonna sleep over here on Saturday morning. You don't get up and have a task. Like, what do you mean? You have to take out the garbage too. So my mom was just very like, she was just so fun, full of life, Libra. And so when she first got sick, I'll never forget, like she came home and she like we played a video. There was a video that was played of like how to deal with cancer in your family. And I was just like, because I was 18 at the time, I'm like, I don't get like what, how, like this means nothing to me. Like I don't understand. Like I see the videos and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to be more nurturing and understanding. But I'm like, what does that actually mean? And all these figures are all white people, so I don't understand like how this, it didn't touch me, right? Like it
Right.
didn't connect. So then when the time, so she pretty much got diagnosed, and this is why I have so much issues even now with the medical system and why I'm like a
Mhm.
vegan, things like this, because what happened is that, okay, so when my mom was 19, my mom has always been a survivor, a warrior. So when she was 19, she was in a very bad fire,
Oh,
and
wow.
people died in that fire. Like her legs, third-degree burns. Like there was a lot that happened, and I bring that up to say that at that time was in the hospital for like 6 months, and she had a blood transfusion.
Wow.
And because of that blood transfusion ended up being contaminated with hepatitis C. So there was actually a whole class action lawsuit against the government of Ontario for that.
Right.
And so pretty much, so she always had foreign blood in her. And then what she died from was a blood type of cancer called multiple myeloma.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so the reason why I bring that up is because, so she always had foreign blood in her, but I feel like it's because like stress, built up stress. She was a single mom of 4 kids. Like
Yeah.
she was going through a lot,
Yeah.
and there was no like space for her to not be like that strong black woman. And that's another reason why I don't aspire or try to be too strong. No, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna be
Yes.
soft because I'm both, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so after so that so she got diagnosed after her doctor wasn't able, pretty much when she went to the doctor, she had stage 5 kidney failure. And usually they will tell you at stage 1, that's why there's 5 stages, right? So
Yes.
they're supposed to tell you. Her doctor was not taking care enough,
Mm.
was not, so she told her late. And so the fact that she knew so
Wow.
late, that she didn't realize that what was actually happening, the bigger picture was cancer. So it's
Right.
like late diagnosis, all these things. So,
Right.
and she was doing dialysis treatments, and it just got weird because it's like my mom like goes out and parties and stuff, and now it's like she has to be taking like one of the small buses and shit to like
Yeah.
just to be able to live. So it
Right.
was very hard, like just seeing somebody like so full of life just
Yeah.
honestly like pretty much like disintegrate. I would never wish this on anybody, like watching something like that, because it came to the point where like why she had to go to the hospital in the end was because like she couldn't even walk anymore. She didn't even have the
Right.
strength in her legs to go up the
Right.
stairs and stuff. And so I'll never forget like when we had to go in the car and like just thinking like I don't know if she'll ever come back type of thing.
Oh,
And
Shakkoi, I'm so sorry.
it was okay because this is still therapeutic for me in a sense, because and this is another reason why I keep so busy, because like I don't take the time to really like take in what's happened and like what I really had to go through. But each time I'm able to do this, it makes me stronger because I know like I have to tell my story because people see the good, the glam, but they don't know like what I
Yes,
have to go through to get there.
exactly.
So it's like accept your darkness as well. So
For sure.
after seeing that, then 9/20 November 1st, I got the call from the hospital because she was in the hospital for like a month, like a full month, and like a month and change
Mhm.
after being sick for almost a year. So even though like she wasn't there, like I still like at the house, I was like visiting her at the hospital, like going to work and visiting her. So it was just so weird for me because it's like I'm like I have to be like normal at work and
Yeah,
I can't be, but then it's like at the back of my head I have to go visit my mom at the hospital and like
right.
sometimes I couldn't even afford parking to even go see her. So it was just like certain things that like my peers could never understand that I had to be going through.
Mhm.
And so when I got that call at 9:20 and they said that she had passed, I was just like honestly, I didn't it still didn't hit like cuz it was just too much to understand. Like, I'm
For
just thinking in my
sure.
head, okay, so I'll never be able to speak to my mom again, but like what now? So for like at least like 3 months, I like quit my job. I'll never forget the time we had to go to her work and her can I swear?
Go ahead.
Her stupid bitch friend was so fucking mean to us. Like she was
Oh
like
my gosh.
it was like we had to go down to sign some papers and stuff.
Right.
'Cause I didn't even know that my mom had life insurance. I didn't even know what life insurance was
Right.
until so I never taken the bus like downtown to her work. So her friend had to take us, and she was just like, oh, you guys are so lucky that I'm even taking you. It's only because of your mom that I'm taking you. Like,
Oh
oh,
my
if it wasn't for your mom.
gosh.
When I tell you, that was the one day where I was just like, honestly, that was a cry that I'll never forget because I was just on the train just bawling. Like I was just like I don't even have the capacity to that's the day when I started not giving a fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, I'm so hurt.
Yeah.
I'm so hurt. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh fuck anybody looking at me right now, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, and this woman who's supposed to be our mom's friend is
Right.
just like
Exactly.
not even giving us like we don't
Respect
understand
to
what's
know what
going
you
on.
went through. Yeah.
Exactly. So honestly, just really thinking back, like I was 19 and quit my job and I just was just smoking weed all day, just closed curtains, just listening. And this was the time too when like 808s and Heartbreak came out. So
Oh
all the
gosh.
sad albums, the coldest
Yes.
winter ever, like that's all I'm listening to. And then it wasn't until and this is why even to this day, like I'm just so trying to be even more careful about discernment and the people around me because um it was my mom's one of her best friend.
The same
I
one?
mean my no, this is a different one. She came after like 3 months of like us just being in darkness, maybe not even probably like a month or two. I don't even remember the time. And she came and this was the talk that made me say, yeah, I can fucking do this. Yeah. Cause she came and she said she gave us the tough love, right? Cause of course at the funeral, everyone's like, oh, we're gonna be there for you, like done no da da da. Day after, everyone's gone, everyone's, so Debbie came and she came and she said, don't ever let me come in this house and see darkness. She's like, open the fucking blinds. And she said, do you think that angels can pass through darkness? How do you think your mom's supposed to connect with you? Do you think your mom can't see you? Do you want your mom to feel sad? Do you want her to feel like she didn't prepare you guys for something like this? And then when she said that angels can't pass in darkness, and that because I wasn't able to think that oh my mom could still see me, oh my mom is still here, I can still connect with her spirit.
Right.
And then a few days later, I went to the hairdresser that she used to go to, and the hairdresser had a dream.
Oh no.
she not even she had a dream. Somebody else had a dream that told her.
Okay.
So she said my mom came to them in the dream, and my mom said, "Yo, my girls, my girls, my girls can take $1 and make that dollar $1,000,000. That's the type of girls that I have. That's the type of girls that I have." So just when I heard that dream and that message at the same time, I just said, "Yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get back my job. I'm not gonna be a fucking statistic. I'm not gonna get pregnant. I'm not gonna fuck this up. Like I'm gonna do this. Like I'm anything to show me that I could, but like just my hope. I was just so angry. I was
Yeah.
so angry at the world. So I was like, you want to take my mom? I'm gonna go. I'm coming for you. I'm
Right.
coming for you in any way, whatever I can get. I'm coming for it. And so that's when I started. I was thankfully already writing at this time, so it really helped me just like put things certain places and certain emotions. So when it was when we were able to get the house, and that's when I was just like, whoa, like I don't even know how to cook. I just started learning how to friggin' cook. Thank God YouTube was around at that time, or else like literally, because my mom was the life of the party. She was a chef.
Exactly.
Why would I learn to cook when people pay my mom to cook? Why would I do that?
Exactly.
So, you know. So it's just like that was those few months of my life being 19, I won't never forget the darkness I had to go through. And that's why like I chose now to like every day push through my light. And it was also this one book called The Four Agreements.
Mhm.
And that's what helped me with my mind. And that's when I said, wow, my mind is powerful. And I started to understand my emotions were different from my mind. And
Right.
so there was one thing from this book that like changed my whole life, where they said like, when you agree to certain things, we agree to things every day without realizing.
Yes. True.
So when we learn to like not do that, we can get so much more out of it. So sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. So I was like, you know what? Every day I'm like
That's okay.
every day I'm like indirectly choosing to be sad.
Mhm.
So I'm going to get up tomorrow and start trying to choose to be happy.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking and looking about the fact that my mom's not here, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna think about all the good times, and I'm gonna like, even if I have to just sit in that, I'm gonna do that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna choose to be happy, because that's a choice. It's a
Exactly.
choice that I can make. And so once I learned that, and I kept practicing that every day, that's how I'm able to get books out, to encourage people, because I really took the time to like, and still on a daily basis take the time to like embrace the darkness, so I can appreciate my light, so I can be in that element, so I can be like, hey y'all, it's me, Shakkoi, get your book, holla holla, because like that goodness is like underlying like the vendetta that I have with the world. Like the world owes me. My mom said her girls can make $1,000,000. So I
Exactly.
already know that million is on the way.
Exactly. 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 First of all, I'm sorry that I made you go through this emotion. I didn't want to. That's why I was like, I wasn't sure if I should go there. But the fact that you said that this sort of helps you therapeutically to sort of also, go through your healing, because obviously you're gonna always go through the healing process, right?
Exactly.
That's your mom, and I'm sure that when you see like other things that you might be thinking, oh, I could have did that with my mom. It's hard. I get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm happy that you're okay with me talking about it, but I'm so
Yes.
sorry. So, tell me now. So, after all going through that and reading the four laws, was it
The four agreements.
four agreements? So tell me what came out of it. So I know that you said that you are going to now use this as your vendetta, is getting back at the world. What came out of it? Like what blew up for you at this point?
After the book,
Yeah, like, so after you read the book and you're like, nah, this is it. Boom, here we go.
it was going back to work, honestly, going back to working at McDonald's. And honestly, because that gave me what I needed, was a sense of normalcy. Again,
Yeah.
I needed to feel like a teen. I needed to feel okay. I need to feel like I could do fun things. I need to feel like I could go to parties and stuff.
Right.
I felt like when I took the courage to go back to McDonald's and say, yo, you guys know what happened? Can I please get my job back? Type of thing. And the way how they embraced us, me and the Ash with open arms, and you already know it was a McFam thing. Like half my friends I know from working at McDonald's, literally, like we took that seriously. So it was really like going back to McDonald's and like working and saying like, okay, like I can still make money. I can still do stuff. Like
Right.
I can be okay. I can be okay. That was the real like, okay, I'm back in the real world. I'm out of sitting in my house for just doing nothing all day, and like I'm ready to like start embracing and seeing what I can do from putting myself out there. And going back to what you were saying, it's because I was even thinking to myself with some of my poems, I'm like, this poem makes me cry when I say it. So am I now gonna not share this poem with the world
Right.
because it makes me cry?
Right.
So I really had to think to myself. That's why I'm like, no, I'm excited to tell my story, no matter how much it makes me cry, because I'm gonna be on world stages telling this story. So this is everything is just like practice. The maybe one day I'll tell the story and not cry, but that ain't gonna happen for at least 5 to 10 years, and I'm okay with that because I'm just real about my stuff.
This is a life coach in making right here. That's what
Literally.
Life coach in
Yes.
making.
Yes.
And you know what? And as much as it makes you cry, even if you tell your story and you tell like whether you're reading your poems, you're doing your spoken word, but the emotion, the rawness of it really makes people to really get a true like identity or a true feeling of what you went through, right? And just as you said, like as much as it might be healing for you, you might be touching somebody else that's out there that you don't even know who went through the exact same thing you went through or is going through it and is trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I bring the normalcy back to my life? You know what I mean? So you doing all of this, you talking about it, you're helping somebody. Trust me, there's somebody out there you are helping. You may not think it, you may not hear it, but you are. As I said, life coaching making right here.
Yes, right.
We're putting it out there.
This is being recorded.
Yes.
Because we're gonna look back on this and like, remember that day? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Facts.
So let's talk about your first book. Let's talk about your first book. What's your first book about? And let's go from there.
My first book titled The Poetic Transitions from a Hothead to a Conscious Queen.
Wow, what a topic.
Yes. I was like,
how did you get from that?
Yes, exactly. So honestly, even when I thought of the title, like honestly, go big or go home. I want people to see this and be like, what? Like a hothead looking calm? Who made this picture?
Yep.
Don't even match, you know? So I really just wanted to, and with that, I wanted to two things. The first thing was I wanted to be able to embrace my anger in like on a public way type of thing, like in a way where it's like, yo, I'm okay with my anger because I'm learning how to go through it type of thing. So pretty much how I wrote the book was I was like, okay, some poetry things make me feel bored sometimes, so I really want to like give them the tea, you know, because people are scared to get the tea with the book. So I'm like, no, the tea's coming with the book.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there in my third year of university. I was like, yo, I'm about to graduate next year. I'm a major in sociology, minor in media studies and African studies. So I'm like, I know that I'm not going to be going into no office next year. That's just not who I am. Right. I did my dental program the first time after high school, and being in the office, I was like, and like, no shade to anyone who's doing that, you know, everybody's different and stuff, but I was like, my personality can't be in an office. So I'm like, okay, so I have to create something that I can use to make me money after university, because, you know, this is a time where people are applying to do other things and like get certain like interns, and I'm there like, nah, gee, I'm not gonna apply. I gotta figure something out. So I'm like, I need to write a book. Too much things have happened in my life. I need to write a book. But I'm like, I don't really have time right now. Third year university. But I'm like, you know what? wait a second, I do have a book. I'm like, there's a notebook that I've been writing down poems in for years. So
Right,
now let me use that book. But I'm like, okay, but how can I show my mindset now at 26 versus my mindset at 17?
right.
So that's when I created the word called preflection.
Okay,
So that's where I explain how I felt before the poem. So
right.
like what made me like angry or what triggered me to make me even want to write that
Okay.
situation, then the actual poem, then a reflection.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
yes, for every poem, because I'm like, okay, I want to be able to show people that you can learn from your anger, you can
Yes.
grow from your darkest times. Like you could have written a poem about one of your guy friends that you like secretly had a crush on and you like secretly were writing, oh, I want you to die because you don't like me low key. Like, do you like dark skin girls? Like, what's going on? Um, and then like literally like look back and be like, no, like there was actually issues of like self-hate that he didn't understand. And that's
Right.
why he was projecting certain things. And so to be able to go back and like unpack and understand that I wasn't just angry, I was actually more hurt, scared, lost. There were just so many other things. So
Right.
just being open and vulnerable about that. And also I do have like two like sexual kind of pieces in here too, because I'm like, I'm not trying to look just one way,
Yes.
except
Exactly.
accept all parts of me, because I don't want to be like, I always think of Robin Williams,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he was so happy and stuff. He didn't have the space to be anything else. That's why he had to, I'm not saying he had to kill himself, but
Right.
I'm just saying that like sometimes people put so much projections on people to be one way, they don't give them the space to be anything else. So I'm like, yo, I'm not a strong black woman, I'm a fluid black woman, because I'm angry, sad, I'm all of this, and
Yes.
it's because of reflection. So don't try to box me in.
Yes. Yes. You mentioned twice now throughout this interview about being a strong Black woman. You're not a strong Black woman. And I have to agree with you. I feel that that term is it's more detrimental, I find, than it is empowering, right? And you sort of talked a little bit about it already. And what's your feelings about when people do come off and say, because I'm sure like after you have had like, your performances and you talk about it, they're like, oh my gosh, Shakkoi, you're so strong. Like, oh my goodness. Like how do you perceive it? How do you, tell people like, no, no.
Like literally, I try to say like, I still say thank you because I don't want to like make people feel away for like a compliment. So I still like accept a thank you. But when I'm speaking, I always try to like change that narrative.
Okay,
Like,
good.
no, don't put me as just a strong black woman, because I need you to accept me in my darkness as much as you expect me in my light.
Yes,
And so when you call me a strong black woman, you're almost saying, it makes me think, will you accept me when I can't be strong? Will you
exactly.
accept me when I'm weak?
Exactly.
Can you
Exactly.
still give me the same praise and love? Because that's when I'll need it more,
Yes.
not when I'm in the element of strong black women. So that's why I'm very like, I try to be just break that narrative, because some people don't mean it in an ill way,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
For
So it's
sure.
just like
Yeah.
really just like showing them like this is how it could come off type of thing, because of years of black women having to be the strong black woman and nothing else. And I'm like, bruh, no, because I need space to be weak as well.
I love it. 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 And I love it because you are still so young. And for you to be able to embrace that and to be able to voice it and to say, nah, this ain't me. And I think that's the thing about your generation. Your generation is a little bit more open to really change things. And as you said, be fluid with everything versus like my generation where we're like, we still take on that strong black woman because that's what we were raised and how we were raised to be, right? So just knowing that you're able to say, this is exactly who I am. Accept me for who I am. Nothing more, nothing less. Like, this is it. You can't take it, move, back off type of thing. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. That's good.
Thank
That's
you
good.
so much.
No,
So
I'm,
it means so much, honestly. And that's
no,
why
it's
conversations like
true.
this are so important. Because
Yes.
you need to break that intergenerational. Even I tell people like, yo, don't even blame your grandmas at this point, because
Exactly.
they didn't have the resources that we do now to unpack certain things.
Yes.
So if you were 40 and some little 15-year-old trying to tell you this and that because they're able to go to therapy and all that stuff, it
Yes.
doesn't,
It
you
doesn't
know?
bash it. No, it's so true. And you're very right. There has to be more of these circles where we do talk about that stuff because I also feel that people are also not even just the fact that like our grandmas and stuff like that, but even like, as I said, my generation, we still have it in our heads that we still have to be strong to protect our kids. We still want to make sure our kids are still doing what they're supposed to be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that stuff. So the talk in this conversation is so, you're right, it's very important to have, whether it's with your generation, my generation, but just to come together, because all these generations are going through different stages in life. When I talk to my kids, and sometimes I'm like, yo, I actually wish I was you guys' age, because the stuff that you guys are doing now, I wish I could do. I
Like the
wish I could.
resources,
Yes, yes.
100%.
It's
And
so
that's
important.
and that's also why I started with Floetry Fitness and this group called Queens Talk, just for
Oh,
Black women to come together once a month. We share, unpack certain themes, because I'm like, there's all this like public space and groups of like, oh, Black women, but where can we be real? Where can we be tired? Where can we like? And then we have like from an 18-year-old to like a 53-year-old woman in there. So just being able to talk and just see how we're like, wow, we don't do this enough. And that's why I'm just like so thankful for this, and just like the movement is real.
oh, I love it. So you actually just mentioned, so I didn't know you have a Queen's Talk. So tell us what Queen's Talk is about.
Yes. Okay. So let me start with Floetry Fitness. Okay.
Okay.
So Floetry Fitness is something I started right before the pandemic, because I'm like, okay, I love poetry. I went to this business program, and I'm like, they're like, what do you love to do? And I'm like, I love poetry and I love dance. Like, which one more? And I'm like, both. I want both. Like, I don't want you to tell me, you know? So I'm
Right.
like, how can I like make this work? So Floetry Fitness is pretty much like my business where I'm promoting dance and poetry.
Okay.
So, and not even dance, but more movement, because people get thrown off with the word dance
Mm-hmm.
because it can seem like choreo. But I'm like, no, come wind up yourself, more
Yeah.
that type of vibe. So it's more like of a release, because I know the choreo pressure where you're like, 1, 2, 3, I hate this class. Why did I
Exactly.
take this? Like it happens to
And
me
count
too.
in
So
your
I'm like,
head.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I came here to have fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I do dancing programs to that, and then with the speaking slash poetry, I do King's Talk, which is for Black men only, to
Okay.
come together and talk and share, express, unpack. And then Queen's Talk is the same thing for Black women.
Right.
And then every like 4 months, we'll come together and do a King and Queen's Talk.
Nice. I
Yes.
like.
Thank you. Because I'm like, yo, I'm there sitting. I'm like, I'm seeing all these blogs of, oh, Black women groups, Black women groups. I'm thankful. But I'm like, bro, who's checking on the black man?
Yeah.
We
It's
can't just sit there, you know? We can't just sit there and be like, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Well, how can you be a part of like changing the narrative?
exactly.
Right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start King's Talk. I know that I can't lead it because I'm not a black man, but
Right.
I can get the space together to
Exactly.
get black men together.
Right.
And it's
Have
been
you been
going
successful with
amazing.
it?
Yes, it's been going so good. I've been learning so much, honestly. Like, I love black men, honestly. They just didn't have a voice, they ain't got a voice. Like, that's why even in one of the latest, and it allows me to write better too, right? Because from one of my latest pieces that I have, I'm writing from the perspective of like grief, things that black men have to go through. Because I have these classes, I've been able to hear a whole different aspect
Definitely.
of their vulnerability. And I'm just like, it's just such a beautiful thing. And I don't know if we have time, but I would love to even share that
Oh
piece
no,
to give you that
definitely.
new. Yes, I'll give you that new. Okay.
Thank you.
Because I'm just so appreciative of the vibe, and just like, this is,
Well, first of all, let me just say to you, you're very right. There is not a lot of stuff out there for men. And I feel that sometimes, and I'll be honest, because I have a nonprofit organization that I'm part of, and we try to do things with men, but it's so hard to get men. But now that I'm talking to you and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I think what grabs why you were so successful to get your men's talk group going is because not just because of your vibe and because of your energy, but I think because of the way that you think and because of your generation. Like your generation will
mm,
be more open to talking, to getting together and stuff like that versus when I guess somebody like me is trying to start a man's group, they're like, it's older men. So it's like, and then
mm,
like they're stuck in their ways. They don't, you know what I mean? It's
yes,
hard, right? So I'm
yes.
really happy to hear your men's talk is going well. Oh my goodness. That goes. Listen, just talking
Yes.
to you and hearing about these things, I have prospects for you right now. As I'm
Thank
thinking in
you.
my head, I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Yes, no, thank you. And that's the thing too, even with the older men, once they see the younger men doing that, that one time we had an older guy on there and he's like married, he's like, yo, like, I never thought that I could like say to my wife that like these are ways that like I could feel better. Like when you apologize, sometimes I need a little bit more. So the fact that he was able to unpack and do all that, so I'm like, they want it,
Yes,
but they don't even know how to ask for it.
exactly.
That's like the thing, because Black men especially have been so silenced, especially in their emotions, with them having to be a man and all these things. So it's really just about, yeah, because I go in there with them like, man, damn, wagwan, like you
Yeah.
gotta meet them somewhere so that you can like build.
Right.
So yeah.
So let me ask you, so your Queen's Talk, what are both your Queen's Talk and your Men's Talk? What are the ages and when do you have these? And how would people be able to connect to be able to register, or if they have to register to get into it and stuff like that?
Yes. So I do host them through Google Meet. And so how people can find out, I am literally, this is the first time I'm saying it too. So y'all get the exclusive, you put
Yeah,
this the
we're getting
exclusive,
everything
the
today.
exclusive podcast, okay? So I'm actually in the works of dropping a website so people have the one-stop shop to just get to
Nice.
everything that I'm doing, the access, because that's the thing too. I'm so busy creating that I don't have the
Right.
time to promote sometimes. So I'm
Right.
really just finding that balance. So the website is literally on the works, okay?
Okay, good, good.
And so they can, or for now, you can tap into Need Some Koi on my IG.
Okay.
Hit that link, the
Yeah.
link in my bio, and then I believe it's like the fourth one. It says like to join Flow Fitness classes and whatever.
Okay.
And for the ages, I pretty much don't really have like an age bracket. I keep it pretty open
Good.
just so that we can pull in that intergenerational connect. So, and especially like if there's younger girls in there, I don't even try to be more structured because they're doing the things too. I was 18 too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, might as well give them a space to talk and feel comfortable and be real about it. Like,
Yeah.
we have a mother and daughter in there where we're still talking about sex topics sometimes. And it's like, that's actually able to happen. And I'm there like, oh my God, my mom still would have beat my ass.
You don't. Yeah.
I'm like, what
My
I'm
mom would have
saying?
been, I mean, I wouldn't have been like that. I probably would have been there with my kids, but I'm just
Right?
saying.
Exactly. It's just like, even seeing it, it's like, okay, like maybe these things are possible once we're able to like get more vulnerable and have these things. So I don't have an age bracket because I'm really just trying to like bring whoever
Open the
can
doors.
in.
Yeah, you're opening
Yeah,
up
exactly.
doors and people to learn from each other. The older can learn from the young can learn from the older.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly,
good.
exactly.
Oh wow, I love it. I love it. All right, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So I know that you before, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong. So before you had all of the books and the Flowetry Fitness and all that, you had a dance group because you used to teach dance, no?
Yes, yes.
So
And
please
I
say that.
still, yes, sea
Okay.
flavor. Oh my goodness, honestly. And I still do teach with sea flavor through sea flavor. And
Okay.
dance instruct, like my dance instructing, I kind of moved it more towards Floetry Fitness. So I'm teaching through there.
Okay.
That's why I do like the hips in motion that was featured on breakfast television.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Superstar right
okay.
here. Superstar.
Holla.
Look at that.
And
You
so
have taught me so much. It's crazy.
listen, that's what I'm like, people.
Blessings.
Blessings. You know what they say? Like in one of Kanye said songs, he said, "To whom much is given, much is tested."
Yes.
So I really just like see the things that I've been through, the fact that I like need to cry a lot. I just like, it's just the testament towards like where I'm going and what's really coming for real. So with C Flava, I had such an amazing time. Like that group really showed me so much. Like it gave me the chance to grow so much confidence. Like, cause it's like at first um I was kind of scared to share my voice on stage. So I was sharing my voice through movement, right?
Right.
And then it came to a point where like, okay, we see other dance groups coming about. How can we like be a little different? So they're like, yo, Shakkoi, like take the mic, like say a 1, 2 before we start off. Then next thing you know, I'm at Nuit Blanche with a crowd of like 200 people having them clap as I'm freestyling
Right.
before our dance gigs. I'm like, no dance group will come with a freestyler. that dry touching. So it's just like, it just really like, once I really got more comfortable on the mic, I'm like, okay, so now let me actually try to get my poetry out there more. And so it really just showed me that it's possible. And it's from how we even started was being inspired from Rise and really seeing that like,
Mm,
yo, Randall, someone that I grew up with, he's able to start this organization. Like, yo, this is possible. I'm like, so we sat down like, yo, like, what is something we can do to get paid for that's not
right.
like in the office type vibes? And that was when I was in the university as well. And so I was able to, even when I left university, they actually have hired C Flava now for like 2 years, doing different dance gigs and actually
Wow.
doing a weekly program, weekly, yes, weekly with their semester dance program.
That is awesome. And
Yes, and it's
isn't
from an email.
C Flavor is you, your sister, and
It's
friends, right?
right now. It's me, my sister Lydia, and Alex.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And so like just on Sunday we did like it was supposed to be a 20-minute set, but the time didn't work out with the hosting. Anyways, but it was at Burlington Performance Center, so it was just like
Nice.
seeing how much stages I can touch
Yes.
really made me now think, okay, like how can I continue to do this with even less effort?
Yes.
So working smarter as opposed to working harder.
Order. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
trust
that's
me,
kind of where I'm at now.
and it's coming. It's coming, girl, because as I said, you're touching all this, as you said, you're touching the stages, you're on CP24, you're doing your stuff with your queens, your women's uniting, your men's talk, and all of that stuff. Like everything is coming together for you.
Yeah.
And for me to see where you came from in elementary school and to see where you are now, it's so amazing. And it's amazing, even your, not even just you, even your sister. When I see your sister with her designing and stuff like that, it's like, yo, these girls, I remember when Kayshawn had told me when your mom died and how it was, and I was like, oh my goodness, these girls are by themselves, no mom. And just to see how you guys have come so far, amazing. As I said,
Seriously.
it's
Big up
blessing.
Lovely Designs. Shout out Lovely
Yes,
Designs. Like
yes,
doing her thing.
yes.
Hardcore.
Like you guys, blessings is all I have to really say. Blessings, and God is really watching over you guys. Like,
Yes.
I'm,
Thank
I'm
you.
proud. I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm proud. So, so we've talked pretty much about you have another book you wrote, right?
Yes. Yes.
What's that book about?
Book number 2, The Conscious Queen, Volume 1, featuring the After Dark edition.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So
And I'm
what's
like, this one
that?
gets a little saucy. So I'm like, let me make the sauce in the title, you know? This is a
Okay.
book not for kids. Okay. So,
Well, yeah, After Dark.
right? Exactly. So with this piece here, with this book, because this one is pretty much like poems that I wrote but didn't really share. These are more like personal poems.
Okay.
But this is composed of poems that I actually perform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like because I was performing these poems, people were like, "Oh, where can I read it again? How can I get this again?" And then
Right,
I was thinking, "Oh, like I'm kind of scared. Like if I put my poems out there, someone could copy it. There could be
right.
this, there could be that." But then after years of people, you know what? Honestly, it was after I'm not sure. I think you probably knew him as well, Smurf, DJ Rambo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
I
was
heard of
after, yes, yeah, right, because it's the same community. So after he passed, I was honestly just like, I gotta stop taking life as a joke. Like I gotta take my life seriously.
Chris.
Like I,
Yeah.
I've had this whole piece of writing that I'm just sitting there like, yeah, one day, yeah. Da, da, da. But I'm like, no, like I really want to make sure that I can like create something that can be here like beyond myself. I want people to know like the inside, not just the smiles on Instagram. That no, I want you to know my darkness, know, hear and feel the mess. And so with this book, it's in 3 parts. The first part is consciously, unconsciously, or unconsciously in love, and
Okay.
that's pretty much like different poems about like being in love with yourself, being in love with friends, and like friend breakups, things like that.
Okay.
The second part is Queen Pains. It's about grief and hardships. Like that's why I share my piece, the poem that I wrote about Smurf, the poem that I have about my mom, really just like embracing like grief and oppression and stuff. And then the third piece just goes to completely left. That's the exotic piece. That's the erotic. That's the nighttime. That's the woo, you know, those poems. I put them at the end. And it's really just why I went like from like dark to just like completely raunchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, because I'm just like, I don't want people to expect anything. Like, yo, you don't know what this book is gonna really take. It's gonna take you in all these different places because I'm in all these. That's why I put three faces on the cover because I'm like,
But you're
three, you're
all,
gonna see
yeah,
different aspects everywhere, and I'm comfortable with myself being all of that. So hopefully this will make you feel more comfortable with being more of yourself and not just one aspect of yourself.
definitely need to get that book. But
Yes,
okay, yeah.
yes.
Okay. That's good. Okay, that's good.
Yes.
And so when are you expecting volume 2 to come out?
Honestly, I feel like I'm not even gonna like I'm not really looking towards volume two. Let me tell you why. Because I am manifesting that you, and publishers are going to be listening to this. They're going to come flocking to me,
True.
asking me to write the third book because the third book that I'm going to write is going to be the actual like tell-all story. But I'm going to write it with other characters, so I'm going to say it's about someone else. But it's pretty much like a reflection of my life, like the details of like all the things that have gone and how I've really been able to get here. Plus the love and the tea. The title is actually going to be
Don't
Bad
give it
Bitch.
yet.
Oh, okay, okay,
You couldn't
okay,
give it
okay,
yet. Hold
okay,
that.
okay. You're
Hold
right. You're right.
that.
You're right.
So
You're
for
right.
anybody who's out here listening that has publisher friends, has a connect, or is
Mm,
a publisher, please hit up Shakkoi and we will be giving you her details later. Okay?
yes.
All right.
Period.
Okay.
Right?
Right there. We'll just leave it right
Yes. You're right.
coming though. So volume three, the next book is gonna be
Yes.
coming out very soon. The next book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. All right.
Yes.
What is one thing that the pandemic taught you?
Honestly, it taught me to embrace my darkness. And like I've been saying that a lot, but it's like I say that because sometimes you don't realize like how dark your mental can get while you're still in a light place, right? So it's
True.
especially with having to be on social media and like putting out this aspect of like one thing, like so it was like I say that because that was when I started going to therapy. And I feel like that really changed my life, that because there was a point where I just didn't, it's like I didn't care. It's there's no way for me to say it without, I didn't really care to live. I was honestly just like, bro, there's just so much going on. There's so much like expectations that I might not be able to live up to. There's just so much pressure and stuff.
Right.
And like again, I'm a homeowner, like all these bills and these things, people want to party and I'm like, I can't party. Like I have to, this there's just so much going on. And so I took the time to go to therapy, and that really just it like freed me. It
Nice.
freed me. It made me realize that like yo, like I can make certain decisions for myself. It validated my feelings and my emotions, and I so the biggest thing was that the pandemic taught me was to really embrace your darkness so you can get through it. Because the more you try to sit and selfie, the harder it is.
No, it's very true. You got to ride with the emotion. And that's one thing that I've learned too is that whatever emotion you're going through, whether it's bad, sad, angry, whatever it is, ride through the emotions so that you can go
Mm-hmm.
and then get back to yourself, right? But I mean, yes, it
Exactly.
can be hard for some people, but as long as you have that support system, it makes it a little bit easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely good. So before we go, we are going to have a piece where Shakkoi will be sharing with us. I'm so excited.
Yes.
But let's hear it, darling.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm pulling it up here and I'm just really excited to share this because it's just something that needs to be said. Okay.
For sure.
And so I'll give a little quick little background. So the reason why I wrote this was because again, like hearing Mandem voice and just understanding like the projections of them and stuff, and because recently in the community in the last like year we've lost three black men to like different things, and just feeling the vibes of the community. And because I've been going in the forest and stuff and taking walks to really help with my mental health. This is why I wrote this. So, okay. Because I was thinking about Church Street and how like we know Church Street, like we live on Church Street, we went to school on Church Street, and then now it's like there's people who are now buried on Church Street that we used to go to school with and stuff. So I just felt okay. So it's called The Painment of the Streets. We went from forest trails to paved roads in the name of evolution, paving the very roads we may one day lay under. See these paved streets, named streets, Church Street, but there's more grave sites than praying sites, Church Street. Just another paved street leading you to another street, finding more comfort in the cold stone finding more comfort in this cold stone. Sorry, I'm gonna pull back that whole thing.
Okay.
Message people, put your phone on do not disturb. Okay. Just another paved street leading to another paved street, finding more comfort in this cold stone than your own sheets, paved streets, but not paved ways. The game was here before you came, but still, you had to seem harder than a rock. Even though the cracks in the street should remind us that rocks can break too.
Mm-hmm.
Paved streets, holding paved systems, projecting paved peace, making high rises in a downtown. I said they're making high rises in a downtown. So we chase the high life without taking in the cold ground, these paved streets, colonized streets that used to lead us to school, fun, and fights. Sometimes the only way to get out of a bad night, these streets. Even with the street signs, street lights, street lines, and street directions, crashes still happen. Mm-hmm. Is it the streets or the people? Because the people are led to the streets, to better streets that they may never see. Who knows where the CEOs live? We don't come from the same paved strip, but we still bleed the same. May I be blessed to one day die in a bed of flowers, since too much of my people's blood has run on these fucking paved streets. Let the blood from my brown skin be absorbed by the brown of the universe. I can't take all these paved streets, paved pain, covering the beauty of the universe, which is our birthright. Fuck these streets. Unless they are to pave the way to Thug's mansion. Every corner, every city. Whether the streets made you have to be a thug or not. We will now only look to grow in the mountains, where the water flows naturally. We have to step off the pavement, pain that was meant, and take a breath in the fucking grass. The payment of the streets.
Mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. That, and that's for the men?
Pardon?
And you develop that poem from speaking with your men, like just getting perspectives from your men.
Yes.
And with the recent few deaths that I have heard about from the people that you guys did go to school with and stuff like that. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Just to give people, especially Black people, an idea that we don't always have to be on the streets. Like go in the forest, go camping, go outside, go take a breath, go do different things, because we're all being led to do the same type. Oh, go party, go take shots it up, but that's not the way to like really like learn to know yourself and find yourself.
Definitely. That was very good. Very good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Listeners, you can get Shakkoi. Sorry, I'm still reeling from the poem, but you can connect with Shakkoi on her Instagram and her YouTube. She does have a YouTube channel, so go and subscribe. At need some Koi. So need, N-E-E-D, some, S-O-M-E, Koi, K-O-I. And you can click on the link in her bio to get her 2 books, The Conscious Queen Volume 1 and The Poetic Transitions from a Hothead to a Conscious Queen. And you can also register as part of her Flowetry Fitness, which she has talked about. Shakkoi, I am so happy and I'm so grateful having you on here. I'm happy that you were able to speak about your journey from what you went through to where you are now. I hope that it has also helped you to realize, dang, I did a lot and a lot has happened, especially in the 1 year of this pandemic. So I hope that helps you. But not only will it help you, it's going to help other listeners and it's going to help other people that you come into contact with. I want you to continue doing what you're doing. The same goes for your sister. You guys do your
Yes.
best. And remember, at the end of the day, as you said, your mom said you're going to take the $1 and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
become millionaires.
Yeah.
Manifest
Yes, manifest.
out there, right?
Yes.
So once again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us. Once again, it's Suzette from Guilty's Pleasures. You can connect with me on YouTube at Suzette's Guilty Pleasures or on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe and share and like. Don't forget. But until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and take care.